Carolina makes 1.1 million a year, and he's in number 50 in the 52 spot, right in there somewhere.
52 spot.
Number
52 spot.
52 out of 140 Division I coaches. So $1 million is average.
Yeah.
And so if you win a bunch of games, you're going to win more than that, make more than that. Pete Carroll leads with 4.4 million, and when you get that high, what's another 400,000? I mean, that's just grocery money for your kids or whatever.
Dad, can I borrow the car? Yeah, I need some gas. Here, 100,000.
But Pete,
Fill it up.
7 straight Big Pac-10 titles for Pete Carroll, which most people around here would say that anybody can win the Pac-10 if you're decent.
I
right?
say that. I say that.
Wow.
I say you take the bottom 4 teams in the SEC, put them in the Pac-10, Big 10, and he got trouble. And he ain't making 4.4 million.
Pete Carroll doesn't have to
There's,
play.
Skip Holtz money.
there's a level of consistency there that you do not get by being an average coach in a lousy conference. And so you have to look at the consistency factor. He continues to produce on a year-in, year-out basis, which is in his favor.
And he does what good coaches with good teams do. You crush the teams you should crush. Same argument for Calipari in Memphis in Conference USA. Yeah, it's the girls' conference, whatever, but he crushed everybody in the conference every year. So, I mean, if you do what you're supposed to do, you get the money.
And saying what we just said about Meyer, he brings that school a lot of revenue.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yes.
That's why he's so well paid.
it's crazy.
He,
With Pete Carroll, yeah.
he's
he deserves
successful in L.A.
it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's
For the money.
like being successful in New York, except in other sports, basketball or baseball. And
Correct.
There's no
Absolutely. I mean,
no football in New York, as we know. Columbia's not playing. Since Ed Marinero was playing football, that's
Wow.
Cornell.
wow,
Anyway.
Cornell.
But Pete Carroll, they're good. Obviously, they're good. They played in BCS games every year, and they're playing. They're winning championships every year.
Consistency.
So-
Once again,
But
you
he's
get
consistent.
the bucks for being consistent.
Even though the Pac-10 is somewhat whack compared to the SEC, where every week somebody in the SEC, and Urban Meyer, he did a great job. If you can't take it away from the guy, I mean, he's a great coach,
But, and I like to do this, and we do this pretty much every year, and we'll probably do it later this year. You take the top team in the Pac-10 versus the top team in the SEC,
Who
SEC
wins?
wins.
Every
Take the
time.
number 2 team in the Pac-10 versus the number 2 SEC team, SEC team wins. And oddly enough, once you get to the middle, when you're comparing the 4th team in the Pac-10 versus the 4th team in the SEC, it gets brutal.
It's
it gets
ugly.
bad.
It's ugly. It is.
Yeah, then there's similar to that is the bowl games, because when you look at the bowl, Tennessee, the SEC has these bowl ties where they're, if you get 2 teams in the BCS mix, the 3rd pick goes to the Citrus Bowl, Capital One Bowl, and the number 2 Big Ten team goes. So all of a sudden, you've got better teams against the SEC. So if you had the matchups even, the SEC would do a lot better in bowl games, and that's another
Right.
story for another day. But
Sure.
You know what? And to add to that, just real quick, when you play week in, week out in the SEC, and then go to a bowl game, I mean, you're vulnerable, I think, because the other guys play weaker schedules.
How do you get up for a bowl game if it's not a BCS bowl?
Yeah,
How
if
do
it's
you,
not
how
a
do you
BCS
get up?
bowl.
How do you get up for the Capital One Bowl if you're an SEC team? For most of these teams, it's a foregone conclusion you're going to be going to a bowl game, and if you're not going to a BCS bowl, it's probably a disappointment anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas all these other teams, it's a chance for you to beat an SEC school. Now, sure, you finish number 2 in your conference, and you're playing the number 4 SEC team. But still, I mean, it's a big deal to beat on an SEC team.
Which is my point. It's a BCS bowl game in the SEC every damn week. Every
right.
week.
There are, over the course of a season, probably how many games that could be BCS bowl games are played in the SEC every year?
It's crazy.
A dozen?
A
bunch.
dozen, at least.
a bunch.
Can you say that about the Pac-10, the
Nope.
Big 10, the Big 12? No.
No.
You can't.
Can't do it anymore.
That's why they play late at night, because nobody wants to watch them play.
Coming up next, Hawaii versus Fresno State. We'll talk about Hawaii here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Weiss, number 2. We none of us understand why he should be the second highest paid coach in America.
Because
Obviously,
he
has to.
coaches for Notre Dame.
And
That's
they
the only reason.
And they have their own TV contract. They can spend that money however they want.
They can.
So that's he's going to get it. He's laughing all the way to the bank, obviously.
Lapping all the way to the bank.
Nick
But laughing.
Saban, number 4. That's the only way he was would be at Alabama is if they paid that kind of money. He would still be possibly at the Dolphins or out of coaching, maybe,
Right.
if Alabama didn't come through with the money.
Yeah, heaven forbid you have to retire on all the money he's made. That'd be awful.
He leaves Miami and they go to the playoffs too. I mean, so what does that tell you? The college coaches are going to stop going to the pros
Yeah.
before it's said and done.
Yeah, I think they should.
You don't see
Why would you leave?
You don't see high school coaches going to colleges. You usually don't see success when you see a college coach go to the NFL. Different games.
Different
Doesn't
games.
mean they're not good at what they do.
No.
It just means you have to learn another profession. It's still called football, but it's another profession.
Another level.
Lou Holtz couldn't do it. Spurrier couldn't do it. Nick Saban couldn't do it.
Lou Holtz couldn't do it.
There's absolutely no reason.
Is that our benchmark? Lou Holtz couldn't do it.
Not too many.
On the bright side, Lou Holtz left the NFL without putting a team on probation.
Yes, he did. That's right. Very good point. Bob Stoops is the highest paid coach in the Big 12 at 3.8, number 5 behind Nick Saban.
National championship.
Oklahoma dominated since he's been there, so he deserves that.
There.
Mac Brown, of course. Mac Brown, number 9, second in the Big 12. Les Miles, number 6, 3.8. I think he's done it with mirrors. I think you're going to see Les Miles. Les Miles may be out of the conference in a couple of years.
He's a Michigan guy.
He was very lucky in his national championship year. Made some very borderline coaching decisions, and they all worked out.
Who's not lucky in their national championship
Everybody's
year?
lucky
Phillip
in their
Fulmer.
national championship years. Yeah.
Some luck is involved, absolutely.
Right.
But I mean, he's a Michigan guy, and that's Rodriguez bringing that new offense to the Big Ten. That they don't do a lot of spread offense
Sure.
in that conference, and hopefully it's more exciting to watch. Big Ten football is boring anyway.
There's another good point. If Michigan beats Notre Dame, then Notre Dame's going to be knocking on Urban Meyer's door again. If Notre Dame beats Michigan, will Michigan be looking at Les Miles immediately? But while his stock is up,
I realize
Michigan
it.
guy.
I realize it's a big game for both these teams, but I don't think it's an end all. I mean, if Notre Dame somehow managed to go like 9-3, you have to assume they'd be pretty happy. Do I think they will? No. Michigan, if they go 9-3, depends on who the 3 are, I
Yes.
suppose. It's not the end of the world for either of those teams to lose. I think it's a lot bigger deal for Michigan to lose to Notre Dame than it is for Notre Dame to lose to Michigan.
And probably it's a bigger deal for Michigan to lose to Ohio State. I'm thinking.
Much
Obviously,
bigger deal.
yeah.
So if Wise does not pull this off this year, I think he's gone. And I think Urban Meyer goes.
Well, I
$500,000 buyout, done. Got
Charlie
that in
Weiss
the trunk.
has a bigger buyout than that, I believe, at Notre
I
Dame.
think so.
That's something maybe you want to check on, Shine. But
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. That's an interesting game to watch because the coaches changed in the SEC possibly based on that game.
Both of those are interesting to watch. I don't know if Notre Dame necessarily goes beating on Les Miles' door as so much Urban Meyer's door, even harder. Just because Miles has come out, he is a Michigan guy. He coached there as an assistant for a while, and he's a Michigan guy. So that's
Just very interesting to see what happens because if Florida runs the table, which they have not done,
2 minutes, gang.
they've only won the national championship with a loss. It's something they can't say.
Right.
Tennessee is the
what
only.
you got, Shine?
It's disputed. No one knows for sure, supposedly, or something like that. But it's between 4 and 5 million. Is Charlie Weiss's buyout?
It's a
Wow.
little bit higher. Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Charlie ain't stupid.
Charlie
No,
is
he's
not
not.
a stupid
He ain't
man.
stu- He can't coach, but he ain't stupid.
Yeah, brother can hit the lunchbox pretty hard for $5
Yes.
million bucks.
It's basically 1 year's pay, though. So
Yeah, 1 year's pay. So hey,
And it's still Notre Dame.
and it's still Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's a valid point. You wonder at what point the Notre Dame boosters are going to start to wane a little bit after years of mediocrity.
also, if you're looking for that move, if you want to make the move, as we said earlier, you might want to make it when it's the best time to get out. For Urban Meyer, if you're coming off 3 national championships in 4 years or whatever it is, that would be the time to go to get the most money.
And Urban Meyer's been lucky too. He's at Tebow. How many coaches wouldn't win with Tebow? You know, I mean, so you got to give him that. He's got a great, which Tebow lends to recruiting. It all lends. Percy Harvin, all these kids that's been. I mean, it all lends to recruit. So he's been somewhat lucky too. He has, but.